has always been rich in traditional crafts. The villages were the workplaces for these crafts. Bare hands and simple tools shaped things of daily use. The raw material did not come from outside. It was available in plenty in and around the villages. The products had a steady demand in the local market. These traditional crafts were a part of the age-old self-sustaining lifestyle of rural societies. It is dusk. As darkness begins to spread, it is time to light the vilaka, the traditional lamp. This custom in Kerala is believed to usher in prosperity and well-being to members of the household. These are not just bronze lamps. They are symbols of the rich cultural heritage of Kerala. As in the past, these lamps light up the shrines, enhancing the divine ambience within. These lamps also symbolize peace and harmony among the various religions. And they are a part of social life too. Marriages, initiation ceremonies and the like are not complete without lighting the ceremonial Nilavilaka. The performance of the Mohini in the temple premises and that of the Nangyas and Chakyas in the Kootambalam have flourished under the luminance of these traditional step lamps made of bronze. Bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, has been in use since 3000 BC. Civilizations across the continents have used bronze for making a variety of objects ranging from utensils, jewelry, ritualistic objects to a wide range of other artifacts. Making fine quality bronzeware is one of the traditional crafts of Kerala. The Belviks, a cooperative of the metal craftsmen, is a premier unit engaged in producing a variety of bronzeware for which there has always been a steady market. These craftsmen belong to the Vishwakarma community. In the past, they worked in their houses. But all was not well with the craftsmen and their craft. Hence, in 1972, this cooperative was started and we have succeeded in bringing all craftsmen under one roof. Now there are over 100 craftsmen in the unit. Also, nowadays, many have come forward to learn the craft. This is an indication of the growth of this sector. Bronzewares are made through different methods. The most common is the lost wax or sire perdu. Here, a wax model encased in a refractory mold is replaced with hot metal to obtain the desired form of the object. There are 5 stages in this method. These are preparation of the core of the mold, preparation of wax model, covering the mold, melting and metal casting, and polishing of the bronzeware. The first task is to prepare the core of the mold by grinding a mixture of clay and cow dung. It is the women who make a rough core of the mold. The dried cores are shaped by the craftsmen on the country lathes. Here, the core of a Deepastambham, the multi-step lamp, is getting shaped. The grinding goes on till the core attains the required shape. The core is now ready for a coating of wax. This is the most important stage, for it is here that the details of the design are worked out. First, a wax ribbon of the metal's desired thickness is pasted. Applying the wax and etching the design patterns is a long-drawn process. For craftsmen like Krishnan, the creation of contours, curves and grooves comes naturally. Carving threads on the pieces of the Deepastambham is the last job done on the wax. In the same manner, idols are also carved out on wax. This, however, is a difficult job demanding a thorough knowledge of iconography. Young Sunanda Kumar is a master of iconography. With ease, he embellishes the figures of the deities with fine details. In some cases, the clay core is not used. For instance, this swan figure has no clay core. It is solid wax on which the details of the swan have been carved. The swan and the lion often serve as a decorative crown of the multi-tiered Deepastambham. However, the application of wax on the clay and carving the details on it is generally followed in the making of bronzeware. For instance, here the wax is being given the shape of a cauldron. Now begins the third stage of finishing the mold. Here, the wax model is covered with finely ground black sand obtained from river beds. This again is a job for the women folk. On the first coating, another mixture of sand and jute is applied so as to prevent the mold from cracking upon heating. To strengthen it further, a third and final coating of mud is applied on the mold. A mouth is created to de-wax and to pour the alloy into the mold. The dried molds are now heated to remove the wax, creating a cavity in the shape of the object being made. The molds are now ready for the fourth stage, which is casting. Bronze is 78% copper and 22% tin. The copper-tin mixture is filled into the crucibles. These are then kept in the lower chamber of the furnace for melting the mixture. The dewaxed molds are kept in the upper chamber. Before charging the furnace openings are closed. The mouth of the furnace is partly closed and the upper chamber is covered with concrete blocks. The furnace is kept charged for about 5 hours for preparing the alloy at a temperature of 900 degrees Celsius. Once the alloy is melted, the molds are taken out of the furnace and positioned. The intense heat of the furnace and the red-hot alloy pose a stern challenge to the workers. To ward off the heat, they soak their arms and faces with water. From the mouth of the crucible, charcoal pieces are removed and wet cotton swabs are kept to suck air bubbles. The casting has to be done quickly. Otherwise, the alloy would solidify in the crucible itself. And all this has to be done with extreme care. As the molten alloy solidifies, it expands, snugly filling all cavities and crevices of the mold. As the solidified bronze cools, it contracts a little for the easy removal of the cast object. When the objects being made are huge, like the cauldron, the molds are kept buried for casting. Now begins the last and final stage of grinding and polishing. The cast figures are dull and lifeless in themselves. The obtrusive edges are now chiseled. As this process continues, the metal artifacts attain a golden sheen. These are then buffed to give them the luster that makes bronze artifacts come alive in their resplendent, eye-catching persona. These multi-layered deepastambams, the handiwork of the metal craftsmen, have spread the fame of the Nadavarimba lamp far and wide. These are matchless artifacts. No wonder then that these exquisite pieces of craftsmanship have a steady and growing demand in the domestic and foreign markets. The Deepastambhams, in particular, some as tall as 30 feet, add an awe-inspiring aura to temple presence. This traditional craft of bell metal is a fine example of man's fascination for metal. It is an age-old romance and an enduring one.